Canada Championships. My name is Tim, and I am here with former U.S. National Champion Chris. And we are here to watch some high-level Catan with you guys.
Yep, this is a culmination of a bunch of tournaments all throughout Canada, qualifiers all throughout the year, and we're down to just 4 players. This is the national championship. It's the final game. It all comes down to this final game.
As Catan always does, it's not quite. You can get into a loser bracket. You just have to win when you have the chance to win. Otherwise, you're
What a
out.
wealth of possibilities.
And we're starting here with some early placements. Obviously, some say 70% of the game is the placement.
Oh, I would say more like 50 or 60.
I don't know. It's quite a lot, though. I mean, if you do poor first placements, you're almost immediately out of the game.
Right, and we can jump right into it.
Yeah.
Josef started already, 6-3-10. It's a pretty clear spot on this board. There's not much ore, and ore is essential.
As you can
For
see with
high-level play.
with this shot of the board, there's only a 6 and a 5 of ore. And if anybody's wanting to build cities or build development cards, you're going to need more ore than you can find if you don't settle on the 6 or 5. So I fully agree with the first placement of 6-3-10. I think it's a very strong placement.
Right.
I would also place there if I had to go first.
It's
And if I'm settling second, you really got to think about ore and how you're going to get it at the end of the game.
Easy for us now, did they?
So it looks like Sarvat is up second here.
Or in
She's
French, le collant
deliberating.
Catan. And you could say sometimes that this game can be very collant.
Got some early banter already.
We'll go.
So Sarvat
All right.
takes the wheat, wood, sheep in the bottom right of the
4,
board.
5, 10. So this placement is solid, but it's almost strictly to get good numbers and good pips on the board.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So
I mean,
gotta
4, 5,
remind
10. Those are
myself,
great placements.
brick
Those are
and
great
wood.
numbers. That's gonna get some high resource production as the game goes on.
But you have to be a little bit worried about ore.
Of course.
And you
Yeah.
can assume that she'll try and settle ore when it comes back around.
Yes,
For her
indeed.
second placement.
If I'm third player, you want to be strategizing here on placing one in which you can capitalize on your second placement. So if you're going to leave yourself without 2 resources, just make sure there's enough of the board open that you'll get 2 resources on the return settlement.
Right. I mean, everyone's looking at the 5 ore here. You know he's probably going to settle on it in third position.
Absolutely.
You pretty much can't leave that for
Very
other players to
stressful.
take.
Yes. The 6 is already basically locked down, so you got to get on the 5 in my
I did a
in my
con with my
opinion.
buddy.
So
went
it
to
really,
Baltimore.
in this decision for Jan,
Just because I was out of the country.
it comes down to
we
either
had some time off.
sheep or wheat. It depends on
We
what he
arranged to meet
prioritizes.
at a
And the sheep
convention
is a
for
better
long
number with the 6
weekend.
instead of 9.
Mhm.
But you could
And
very easily
we
see
was-
him
the-
taking the
so
9,
the
5, 11
convention
in
was
this
at the
situation.
hotel.
And he does.
It's the 9, 5,
You
12
really
actually.
wanna give me any
It's a
good
12 wood.
spots, do you?
9, 5, 12. That's good. That's good locking down. You know, I mean, he's going to have the chance to capitalize this and get good wheat. There's an 8 open. There's a 5 open. There's a 9 open still. So if he can find sheep and wheat in this next settlement, he's going to be in really good shape.
Right. In this situation, I might actually have taken the sheep, though, considering
Yes.
the 8 in the middle of the board is wide open.
Mm-hmm.
The 4th position player is not going to use both of their
can't-
settlements on 1 8.
He can't shut off all of the wheat from
Right.
you.
So-
There's just too much wheat open left on the board. So I agree with you. I would have taken
I would have
the
taken
sheep.
the sheep in
Yeah.
this situation.
But-
Sheep, a criminally underrated resource by almost every Catan player on the planet.
If you'd play Catan, you know how people laugh at you when you try to offer sheep for a trade.
Yeah, no one likes it, but it's pretty clearly the 3rd best resource in the game, in my opinion.
Well,
I'm not liking that. I'm not liking that.
your mark correctly lamenting the spot he's been put in.
Yeah, 4th position is
You know, one of
not
those
super
games
great
where
on
you're
this
thinking
board.
about a few spots,
I mean,
and
you gotta get on the wheat for sure.
all
You
the
might see
ideas you have
a
just
coast
go
settlement this early,
crap
which is
right
always
away.
rough,
Mhm.
especially for the one he would have to look
one of
at.
those
It has no
games.
port,
Right.
so it would just be 2 numbers. It's not a great start,
Yeah.
but he might have to take it just for that orb. Ooh,
Yeah.
look at that wing. That was pretty nice,
Smooth wing.
playing up to the camera.
Yeah.
So in this situation, when players are settling in a high-level tournament like this, you can pretty much take as long as you want.
There's no. I mean, you can always call the clock on players, and then a judge will come over.
Right.
But it's generally accepted, especially when stakes are this high. And the stake for this game is a spot at Worlds, a trip to Italy, and you can take as long. You should take longer than that even.
Yeah.
It's not. This is not a long term for first placements at all.
Yeah. Now we know where he wanted to go.
Yeah, now you know. So now you can stop me. You know what? We'll go with it.
At 3-9-11. Or 3, 6, 11, sorry.
Yep, 3, 6, 11. Pretty
then-
solid. I mean, he's got to take somewhere on 8 now.
Yeah, absolutely. Get on the wheat. You can't leave the open or the middle of the board open like that.
I'm not liking my odds, Goose. I'm not liking my odds.
You hear Mark here already playing up that he's in last place before the game even starts. Not liking his odds. Yep, and
But
there you go.
this
Settles on
is
the wheat.
good placement here.
Mhm.
You start
Looks
with a
like
road.
settlements in there.
It doesn't look like he's going to be racing anyone, but he can get to that sheep port on the 6 very quickly,
He said it
which
looks
is
like winning
a
settlements
huge
to me-
advantage
to
over
him.
a lot of people that
He didn't say if it was
maybe
winning
started
for
on
me
the
or for
stone
him.
and are going to have trouble expanding early.
So, you know,
Yeah. Take it with a grain of salt.
take it with a grain of salt.
Sure.
So he takes his second settlement to get the road to start, which
Yeah.
of course you have to do in this
I
situation.
thought it was him.
I
saw that.
was so used to
But you're
around
in
the
too deep,
table.
might as well go for the shake, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
Once you're committed, you're committed.
Absolutely.
All right, so now we're back to the third player, and he's
Yeah.
kind of, in a sense, he's pigeonholed himself by
Yes.
not taking sheep early.
Right.
You almost can't rely on that 6-5 still being there at
Right.
the end of these settlements. So, I mean, I expect a middle settlement of the 8 wheat and some sheep. But he
Ooh, instead
does
he's
not.
deciding to start with the road as well. This 2 sheep is just not going to be enough for him.
No.
Still
I
maybe.
But he does start with the road. Maybe he'll go inward and try to get to 3, 2, 8s or
next.
something like that. Get some more sheep.
Yeah, he's hoping that 6-5 is going to last.
Yeah.
And
Or
it's
yeah,
possible.
he's
There's
on
only
the-
2 settlements left, so
Right. Yeah, he's 1 road away from the 6-5 on the border there. That makes sense. Yeah. I think the road here has to go to the wheat port at the 8-9.
if he does build this road here, it's unlikely that it'll get cut off both ways. It's a pretty decent position to be in.
Yes.
Pretty much, he should be able to expand to a very profitable settlement
Mm-hmm.
pretty quickly. He
Oh,
builds
wow.
up.
Okay. So that's towards the ore port, which if he does get on the 5 really, he's starting with a road and a sheep, which is, it's good. But if he can get to that 5
So
early,
what's your name?
Sarvat.
Sarvat?
double up on that, and
Sarvat.
then get to the
With
stone port,
Sarvat.
that'll be good.
Yeah, perfect.
Please.
We'll see if he
You
can.
guys
then.
didn't leave me with much. Now,
Sarvat actually has plenty to settle
Would have
on.
gone right.
Most of the
I
board
know,
open,
right?
yeah.
You had the choice.
I did.
I'm the only one at the table who had no choice.
Yes.
So you hear the players talking. Sarvat had first choice of her position, and that doesn't
Whether or
mean
not
you
I
go
made the
first
right
in the
choice
game.
remains to be
Pretty
seen.
much how
I'm
well
not-
you do throughout the
I'm not
tournament
really-
decides which
really
order
enjoying my
in
numbers,
which
but-
they pick their settlements.
Mhm.
So Sarvat had the decision, and she chose first.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
here she goes for the brick and wheat in the top left.
Yes, okay. She chose second, by the way, not first. But she completes
road.
her and ignores stone entirely, which you almost have to do in this type of scenario. She went for good pips, and she continued that, got good numbers, got good pips. And that means she's going to be producing a lot. And if she can settle, I feel like I'm saying this about everyone about settling early, but people are depending on their expansions on this board. I'll just say that much. I mean, she has no stone spots, so if she can get a couple settlements down and then be able to work towards some ports, she's already on the wheat port, which is good.
Yeah,
So
that's very
doubling up on the
advantageous.
5 would be really good for her, or doubling up eventually on the 9.
Right.
Between that 8, 11, 12 or the 6, 5?
But she needs an alternate way to get stone in the late
Yes.
game. But she probably, as it stands, she has the best early game, no
yeah.
doubt there.
Yeah, she should be able to expand pretty early on. So
6-5, the or 6-5.
And I got the sheep harbor with the 6. The worst.
So you hear Josef here
them
being
sixes.
very transparent about his options. He's either going for the 6-5, which we talked about being gone by the end of these settlements, or right in the middle of the board on the 8 wheat. And there it is, 6-5.
Oh, the 6-5, he wraps it up. So that almost terribly hamstrings Jean.
Good luck, guys.
This is why,
So
if you're the
I'm
blue
gonna
player
have
here,
sheep.
you take the sheep.
Can we take
Yes.
a picture?
Sorry.
So now,
sorry.
he's almost completely cut off from sheep.
I think you wanted to take one too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough, especially without being able to get development cards with the wheat and ore focus that he has.
Everyone takes a picture so they can
That's a
brag to
bunch
their
of
friends
nerds,
later
no big deal,
about how they won
right?
from behind.
This is a very common thing in Catan
At least I
tournaments.
am.
People like to analyze their first settlements after the games and share their
Fly your
strategies
nerd
with
flag,
their friends.
brother. Fly your nerd flag.
Let's go.
Good to go.
Here we are.
7.
With 7 for the first roll. That always slows things down.
Yeah.
And it really, a few people started with a road, a couple people, and if he steals half of that road from them right now, it's so bad.
It's a big deal. This is
Yeah.
another tactic a lot of players use, which I don't really agree with, which is they decide even or odd or high-low to see who to steal from.
There's always something that can affect who you want to steal from, whether it be positions or how many resources someone has. But even this early in the game, you should be able to decide who has
4.
the advantage over you or who has the best spots and steal from them.
Not one of his numbers on the line.
Leaving it up to
But
chance.
to each their own, yeah. I mean, it's a chance-filled game, so.
Yep.
7.
Another
Wow,
7.
another 7.
Very early on for 2 7s like this.
Yes, indeed. I think when a game starts with a couple 7s like this, it really hurts the people that don't have. We're depending on a small amount of resources that they started with to
Right.
carry them forward into the late game.
I mean, specifically the blue player here,
Yeah.
he has that one sheep.
Yes.
If that were to be stolen,
I
it
mean, that
be
would be
very
disastrous. Yeah.
to replace.
He just rolled a 7, but
Yeah, I mean, so
when you settle on stuff like the 2 sheep or the 11, the 12 wood, you sometimes depend on that wood being your first wood for your first settlement, and if it gets stolen from you, it could really, it could be 4 turns around before you recover from that.
right.
All right, first road down for Jean.
First road, it looks like he's going the long way around here.
Going to the
7.
Middle of the, yeah.
the 8, 11, 12.
Yeah, 8, 12. 11.
The middle of the board is too good to be this open right now.
Mhm.
I think that building a road towards it is the correct play. It's probably what I would do, considering in my opinion, he should have built his top road down instead of towards the stone port. The stone port's not going to really help him too much now that he's cut off in the 6-5.
Right,
So now he has to go the long way around, but it's still the correct direction.
right. Here you see Josef. He's down to 1 card here. He hasn't built anything, which means he's gotten stolen twice from out of the first 3
Yes.
7s, which is very rough.
Yeah.
It's always a
That's
great
a
start.
Oh, man.
it's a hefty loss, no doubt.
7.
Another
these
7. So
games,
4 7s
Yeah.
in the first 6 rolls.
Yeah, at least he gets
Incredibly.
to get 1 resource back here.
3.
We all know 7's the most common roll, but that's still
Still unlikely.
very unlikely.
I like to do a funky
Yep.
shuffle.
You do the funky shuffle.
I like to
Funky
do the
shuffle.
funky shuffle.
Oh,
Seven.
another
Are you
7. This is
insane.
surprised?
Was that 5 7s out of 7 rolls?
7 rolls, yeah.
Oh
5
my
out of 7 rolls.
goodness. That's way too many 7s. See, when you're not getting new resources
What
into
was the number that rolled
into
other
the
than
general
7?
bank,
I mean,
even when
really
people are stealing, it's
4
gonna
You built your road, eh?
slow the game all the way down.
So we're just shuffling around our initial roads or our initial cards.
You hear Sarvat saying exactly that.
Initial
You know
routes.
what? I'm gonna pop it back here, and I will.
That's definitely the spot to block, by the
I'll
way.
go from you, my friend.
Yeah, blocks blue and red on a very valuable
See if we
stone
can get our
spot.
card
Yep.
back. All right.
9, 9, 9.
So if you look at red settlements here, it's so obvious that he's going for a development card type strategy,
Mhm.
and his spots are actually really great. They're super pure.
Yeah.
It's just sheep, wheat, ore, which,
10.
you know, a lot of people are scared of playing without all 5 resources, but if you're going to go development cards, going just those 3
There's no
is a great
bricks
way to
out
play.
there, are there?
Obviously. John just bought a development card, the first one of the game. We'll try to track that and see which card it is.
And that's
Eight.
interesting because you wouldn't really expect Jean to spend the 1 sheep he had on a development
That's
card,
true, yeah.
considering it's going to be really difficult to open.
6.
Yeah. All right, the 6 is rolling early. There's been a couple of them.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm assuming John has to trade for sheep now.
Yeah,
if,
he's
if
gonna
he
have
ever
to.
wants to settle.
Were
Yeah.
you? What were you willing to give for the brick?
What are you looking for? I might have what you're looking for, actually.
What do you think I'm looking for? You
Well, what's
got
your
wood?
do you tell me? Do you want
You
a
got
wood?
wood?
Yeah, I got a wood.
You got a wood?
I got a wood.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Thank you.
wood for brick.
I'm gonna build
Basic
the
trade
road.
Sarvat builds a road out of it.
And
My guess is she's going to try and double up on the wheat here. With the
Yeah,
wheat port.
going down.
Yep,
Yeah,
there
that's
you
the
go.
correct road build. That's
She
if she
also
gets
gets a
that
second
double
port.
5 early, she'll be able to buy cards. She'll be able to city. It'll be really powerful for her. So
Right. Second port as well.
yes. And now we have a long. Oh wait, he did play the knight. Sorry, he already flipped it.
I see.
So first card of the game, it's a knight. It should be a knight. That's good statistically. That's correct.
Yep. We'll see where Jean goes. It looks like he's going straight for Sarvat.
Oh
Which,
wow.
I mean, I'm
Blocks her
not-
wood.
Super surprised by it,
Yes.
but I don't know if that wood specifically, that 10 wood, is that valuable to her.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I didn't see that Mark was also on there. So he stole from Mark.
Okay, I
But
see.
it was blocking 2 people. I understand the blocking.
Sure.
Oh, sorry.
In the early game, it's always best to
Nobody's passed them.
block
As soon as you pass the dice, you're
the early game
Yeah.
resources, which are wood and brick. Yep.
All right.
Is that the roll?
That's the rule.
yeah.
It's all good. Yep. Carry on.
So you
If
see
you hadn't
there,
stolen from me, maybe I
Actually
would
missed
think
a
a little
turn.
more charitably about
Yeah,
it.
a very uncommon thing to happen in tournament. But he passed the dice before rolling,
7.
and it was ruled that means you gave up your turn.
right,
I'd like a chance to get
unable
that
to
back.
play any cards.
Yeah.
Thank
It's another 7, and then he just moved it back and stole.
So if you see there, this is a common mistake that people make in tournament play. John got stolen from and just straight up gave him one of his 2 cards,
Yeah.
which pretty much just tells Mark which other of the 2 cards it is. So it was both brick.
Right.
He gave him a brick,
Mine,
and it's
actually.
obvious that they're both brick, which
Now-
is not information that you are forced to give away.
Mark gets the first settlement on the board.
10.
It's almost a completely useless settlement. 9-11, with doubling up on the brick and then getting a 9 wood. He already has a 10 wood. I don't know how many roads he is going to be building with 9, 10, 11. You know, so I'm not too fond of that. I mean, now he gets 3 brick on an 11 if it ever rolls, but
Right.
I'm not too fond of that first settlement. You want your first settlement to be more impactful than that. Maybe to get to a port or get to
yes, I would say
a
that.
large producing number.
So maybe for the latter part of the game, it'll go a little 7 light.
You see the players already hitting on how many 7s
This
are.
sucks 'cause I want your brick.
You know he's got it.
I know, and you've got the 1 card,
Yeah.
but I hate putting it on you.
Well,
Just like, like
I know.
over and over. Like I feel bad. Sorry, man.
All good.
Well, on the positive side, you didn't block a big number for him.
All you need is brick.
Yeah.
See, and that's what happens. Most of the players probably were aware that his second card was a brick anyways, but the fact that he revealed that it was only a brick left in his hand,
the game.
Sarvat then steals from next turn.
And she settles on the double 5 to really, I mean, that's such a more impactful settling
Yes.
than Mark settle because now she has 2 wheat on a 5, a highly frequent number that rolls that hits quite often.
Right there.
And there's a 5 right there, immediately paid off for it, and she's
Big
going to be able
roll for everybody but me.
to use the wheat port to make that whatever card she needs it to be.
So in this situation, normally
10.
you'd feel a little bleak
Anybody
about
have a
starting a
road
game
they wanna
without
trade?
any ore.
For a
But-
coal and a wheat?
When you're producing
I
this
don't have
much
any
wheat
brick.
with a wheat port, you can trade it in
Alright,
for
carry
at any
on.
point.
Yeah, she seems to be doing well early.
3? Oh
Which,
my goodness.
With settlements like that, it seems to
Oh, cool. That's
when you
nice.
just go for good numbers and high resource production, that seems to you usually jump off to a pretty good start.
Yep.
Ooh, first
So that
card
was-
for Sarvat. She uses her wheat port to trade 2 for a stone. Already seeing advantages from that.
Yep.
2.
Well, look at that.
Wow. Okay. So
I
Jean
always
gets
say
his
as
2
long as it's all
sheep
the 2
that he
hit
already
once.
spent.
9. 9, 9.
You see Sarvat getting even more wheat.
Hmm.
Do you have any bricks that you are looking for some wood to go with? No?
8 in a roll.
Does anybody have a brick that they could afford to part with?
I'll trade you for a wood, but
Yeah.
I don't have brick. I've got wheat, sheep, and rock.
How many sheep for a wood?
I can do 1. I don't have many cards. So I only got 4, 5 cards. Maybe I'll have more later.
Yeah, I'd like to help you. Okay, so all you can give me is a sheep? Can you give me a
Yeah.
sheep and something else?
For your brick? Is that what
For a wood.
I can't do anything with it, is the thing.
Here.
For sheep?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do it.
What'd you give him, sorry?
You gave me a wood for wood, and I gave him a sheep.
Yeah.
Just do me a favor and put them face up.
Yeah, why not?
Oh,
No,
sorry.
your
Yeah,
trade.
no, the trade.
Oh, the trade. Yeah, sorry. It was
okay.
it was a wood for a sheep trade.
All right, so there you have Mark. Honestly, convincing Joseph to trade in just
I gotta
by
get on that 5.
disparaging sheep.
Yes.
You can only give me one sheep when like sheep is
got
not very
brick.
common on this board and it's actually really valuable.
Not
He,
at this
he
juncture.
pleased Joseph on that trade. Joseph
Yeah, a
got,
wood for a sheep is not that great. in this
Joseph got
situation, even though
nothing
it's brick.
to immediately help him, and Mark got
7.
a development card, which can obviously affect the board almost immediately. So
So here's another 7 for Sarvat. We'll see where she.
this
decides
is
to
really
move.
good for her that she's had these many 7 rolls that she could roll, or she has control of, because she bought a card last turn, but she had to spend 3 wheat to get it, and she's not going to be able to do that all the time.
He's got a
And
point.
it's tough if you're getting blocked, especially if you get out to an early settlement like she did. It's tough sometimes to control the board if you're not
Take
being
that
able to
wood.
move the robber at all. So the fact that she's rolled a couple 7s here in the early game and is able to block
If you've got some
her
other
opponents
cards,
while
maybe you
also
can
building up like
Yeah.
a bit of a defense by having a card for herself, if she ever does get blocked, it's really good for her.
Yeah, because in this situation, you can't be certain that it's not a knight she has under there.
Yeah.
Because it was on blue, so
Exactly.
she didn't have to play the knight before she rolled.
Yes.
And now she really cuts off Joseph from any ore.
Mhm.
I mean, significantly from the 6.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
still has the 5 in the corner, but
Yeah.
that is mostly Joseph's plan, is stockpiling ore.
I'm gonna
Keep
build
wheat,
a
so-
road.
It's dangerous for him. And here's another use of the wheat port. It's very valuable.
Okay. Build a road, yep.
See where she goes. I think she's probably going to head towards the ore,
Up on, towards the 4?
to the 5.
Oh, sorry, to the 5, sorry.
Yeah.
Try to race?
Yep,
Oh
there you
my
go.
god, okay, I understand it now.
So the red player here has no access to wood or brick, and the only way
Oh,
Sarvat is going to lose this race is if that is already your punny or road build.
Yeah,
His
that he's
first
holding
development
down,
card.
yeah.
And the odds of that are pretty low.
Yeah.
So I like it, especially having no ore.
thank you, my
Yeah.
friend.
Taking a race is always risky, but she does have the 8 break.
11.
Wow, so there's
Who's
3
gonna
break
think
for
that number
Three
was
brick
ever gonna
for Mark
roll?
there.
Trade one of those?
At this point, no. I'm sorry.
You don't trade one brick?
Well, what would you offer for 1 brick? That's
Pretty generous, huh?
That's pretty generous, but you know what? I don't see it very often. I don't think I can trade it at this
No?
juncture.
Sitting at 2 points? It's not like
Just offer
It's
a
not-
wheat and an ore.
No,
For
it's
1
not
break.
that.
It's
It's not
almost
that.
decidedly a mistake. He's getting blinded by the fact that he
Well-
hasn't been able to do anything,
Cold-
and there's a trap he can easily fall
Yeah,
into.
it's-
He's trying to win the race.
Yeah.
Right away.
No, not right
oh,
away.
you want to build roads? That's fine.
Not necessarily right away. But let's build a
At some
couple
point.
anyway.
I honestly think Mark should
Well,
have taken
I'm
that.
not looking like largest
any
army
day.
kind of.
Yeah.
One brick for
guy,
a
so
wheat and an ore
I
is
guess I
an
gotta build
absurd
some
trade at
roads.
any
That's,
point. in the
yeah,
game.
for him, yeah, that's really good. I mean, he's got
And you're holding how many
3
cards?
ore, so it's not.
5.
5 cards.
Well, especially because you can see
Yeah.
Joseph's hands here.
Okay.
And trading those away like almost negates
Oh, that's
the value of
good.
him getting a development card.
Yes.
And it's no matter what way you look at it, a development card is better than a brick.
12.
Even if you're in a race like
Boxcars.
this.
Do you want to trade that brick for coal and wheat?
Not at this juncture. It's too much hazard of something
Turns down the
happening
trade
before I can
again?
do anything with it right now.
Oh, I'll look to your turn. That's fine.
So Mark only gets brick on 11, so he's really valuing it very, very highly. It's clear that he probably wants to get longest road. In the end, he already has 4 roads on the board. And it is really good, the spot he's going to
Yes.
double up on that 8 wheat would be very nice. for him.
8-2-3, yeah. To be fair, though, he doesn't have any ports.
It's very tough without any
Even
ports.
with that amount of resource production, he would not really be able to city. And Sarvat buys another
11.
development card. That puts her like pretty decidedly in the lead.
Yep. Another 11, though.
Wow.
3 more brick.
3 more brick from Mark.
What
That's
an
that's a pretty big swing. Let's see if he
Yeah.
decides to trade it this time around.
I
A
mean,
little
if
bit
that
of
offer's
everything,
still
my
on the
friend.
table.
A little bit of everything.
Oh, I need some more, don't you?
At this juncture, I'm not actually looking so much for ore. You got wheat and a sheep. What have you got?
I can do a wheat or a wood.
Not enough, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Wow.
Too
All right, so
rare.
Yep.
Mark is
For
valuing
For
his
now.
brick very highly here,
Yeah.
8 bricks should.
Yeah, it'll come. It'll come.
especially considering there's an 8 brick on the board.
Yep. And I think Sarvat
Rolled.
might be
Yeah.
the
I'll
smartest
do that
here.
in a
She
second.
seems to be buying cards and just waiting for that brick to roll.
Right.
You know?
I mean,
Not
why
panicking.
even worry about it?
Yeah. Not panicking and overvaluing it.
So there's a wood for here for Mark. So I mean, should be able
So
to settle
wheat and a
here.
sheep?
Wow, wheat and
I can
sheep.
still do the wheat and coal.
Do you got any sheep?
I know.
Does anybody have any sheep at the table?
He's trying to settle.
No
I
sheep.
have one. I have one. That's why I don't want to trade it away, though.
Well, no, I understand.
You'll
I
do it for just
understand.
one sheep?
And do you have a wheat?
No, I don't know. I know you have a ton of bricks, so.
Well, I do, but I'd like to help you.
One for one. I'll do a cheap for
Everyone
you.
wants to
help
help
me.
everyone.
Tell you what. A wheat and a sheep for 2 bricks. These are freaking rare, man.
A wheat and a sheep.
For 2 bricks.
Mark trying to convince the table with an 8 brick on the board. That brick
You
is
can
rare.
do it. You'll get your 2 bricks.
Just because it hasn't rolled yet doesn't mean it's rare.
Right. It's certainly not on this board at this point.
I'll do it.
Oh, wow. He talks him into it.
Okay,
That's
so he
huge
gets a wheat
swing.
and a sheep. He's going to settle off of this.
Settle
most
right in the
likely.
middle of the board on the 8-3-2. It might not seem important, but it cuts a lot of people off. It limits other people's expansion abilities, and it almost guarantees his longest for now, which is quite good.
Yeah, it's very good for him, but
But
No,
he
no,
has
no,
to
no,
start.
sheep.
yeah, you have to worry about late game here.
Absolutely, he has to start worrying about citying now. Honestly, as soon as he
God.
settled there, he has to start worrying about citying right now.
I mean, when you hear him say, "Oh, I'm not looking for ore right now," he should be looking for ore the entire time because he doesn't produce it. So
That's true. And here's the 8s, just like we were talking about. Here comes the brick for everyone.
So
Now
then-
all of a sudden, Joseph's going to be like, "Oh, no, shouldn't have given up that much."
yeah, I think you're correct.
Yep.
He's gonna be looking at his hand. I don't even know if he can build anything right now.
I'm gonna
Looks
play
like he didn't.
knight. I'm gonna put it here, and I'd like to pick from you, please.
So she blocks. She
there
steals from
something
Mark.
in
That's good.
particular you're
He's
looking
the
And I'm hoping I get it. The odds are pretty good.
clearest amount of production so far has gone to him as
lot of
far as
wheat.
roads and settlements.
So now you got
Oh,
Sarvat and
5.
Jan,
I mean,
right? Played
there's
the first
4
one?
in
Yep.
there.
Yeah.
There we
Tied
go.
at 1 night each,
Yes.
but
Okay,
Sarvat still has a
I'm gonna
development
build
card
a road
down.
and a settlement.
And she road settles.
Wow.
Okay.
And she
So
wins the race immediately against
Joseph
Joseph.
kind of traded for those 2 brick, looking to win that race.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah, we're
she
good.
just immediately takes it from him.
Oh, my goodness.
It's pretty bleak for him now.
He's almost.
And the double
I mean,
fives
he's
hits.
cut off hard. Obviously, going up to the 3-1 port for the 6 stone for him is really good. But he needed both of those spots: the 5 port and the
wheat
6
out
port.
there?
What are you offering?
For a sheep?
Not for a sheep. I could do wood.
I'll do a 1-for-1 with you. That's right.
Wheat for a wood? Yeah, sure.
All right, so that's another classic scenario where Mark is clearly ahead, and Jean offers up a trade and just ignores Mark when he accepts and takes it from Joseph instead.
You always have the right to ignore people.
Yes, definitely.
But you should probably politely say no. Don't want to make any enemies out here.
So it looks like a city coming in here from Jean, but yeah, he's already got it laid out on the board.
I see. Yeah.
It's very nice for him having a city this early.
He still needs to get to that 8 wheat, I would hope.
Yeah, that settlement's really important, the 8, 11, 12, so.
Yeah.
We'll
But
see if he can get
he
another
should
road
city
here.
the 9, 5, 12.
Yep,
here.
got a road as well.
In a road.
That's a
Okay.
great turn there for Jean.
Yeah. City and a road, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you can ever do 2 things in one turn, you should.
Yeah, it's a pretty great turn.
It's almost always
Yeah.
correct. I mean, you want to have big swing turns in this game, especially when you start getting into the later development cards.
Right. So the thing about that last trade too, if Joseph hadn't taken it, Jean probably would have traded Mark. So
I was
Just
wondering
to-
if
just to
you
give
were-
this big of a
if you were
turn.
willing
yeah,
to do
so
that.
maybe Joseph accepted that trade so
know
that
what I
Mark
want to
wouldn't
do.
get it to
Yeah.
slow him down a little bit.
Are you totally sure that's
But-
what you want to do?
I rolled right.
All the intentions
Yeah,
on
1 hour
Mark and
safer.
Sarvat, even with him with the card down. So she's actually pretty clearly in the
Yeah,
lead.
she had the
Well,
biggest turn this
I
last
guess we're
turn.
gonna have to play one of those.
All right, there's Mark's first night.
Okay, Mark plays a knight.
See where he moves the robber. It
Orange
should
is
be on
looking pretty
Sarvat.
Good.
Should be the 5.
I know.
Points.
Orange is looking pretty good. And gentlemen,
There it is.
Good
I
luck.
will take one for the team. It's nothing personal.
Oh, it's part of the game.
It is part of the game.
Another 11. All right.
3 more brick here for Mark.
So since Mark so passionately described how rare brick was on the board,
it's been the most common.
it's been flooded with brick.
Anybody looking for a brick?
And pretty soon, yeah, as you can see, he's trying to get rid of them
Still
now.
got that
No
2
one
you
wants
gave
brick.
me.
And
Bring
Joseph
the whole
admits
thing.
he still
Is
has the 2 he
anybody
traded
looking for wheat?
for a wheat and a sheep.
Yes, which is
He could
disastrous.
very,
Sorry, I'll have
very
a sheep.
well use that wheat and sheep now. I can tell you.
Yeah,
that much.
get a card, get
Even a
get
couple of
anything
wheats?
really.
Yeah.
Or a wheat and a brick? Or a wood? No? Okay. You're gonna make me go the big. You're gonna make me go big.
Oh wow. Okay, so that's a
They
4
say go
wheat
big or go
for
home.
1 wood trade in
big or
there.
go
That's what
home.
happens when you have no ports in this scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not anything too crazy because he gets double wheat on the 8 here, but this road, I mean, he's trying to get to a port.
He secures the longest in that turn.
Right.
Yeah,
Now
he needs to
this
get to that
one's
3-1 port as quick
No
as
one has
possible.
sheep.
I would have
Yeah.
tried to city before going
No
to
one
it,
has
but
Right.
that's just me because it's a big resource
Who'da
investment to
thought?
try to get
Go the
there.
road.
Right. Instead of trading the 4
Yay.
for 1 wood
I
when
did
he has a
something.
ton of wood on the board, like it'll eventually roll.
Yeah.
Probably should have taken stone and tried
Yeah.
to save up.
Absolutely.
Joseph again can't buy anything, which puts him super far
Or
behind. 4 gets a sheep for Sarvat.
Uh-huh.
We'll probably see another development card here. Looks like she's deliberating about something new.
She still has 1 card down. She could play it this turn.
That's true.
And
I'm
she...
gonna buy a development card.
Oh,
There it is.
okay, so she buys 1, but more importantly, she did not play a knight, and,
Right.
and her double 5 is blocked.
Right, so that's the most important spot for her on the board. You know it's not a knight.
Yeah,
You
so
know
now
that's something
so
else.
now we know she has 2 cards that one of them is for sure not a knight. The other one is likely a knight, the one she just pulled. But we'll see next turn if she moves it off her spot. 'Cause
Right.
If somebody passes with their spot still blocked or rolls before they play a knight to move it, you can almost guarantee it's not a knight.
Right. I mean, in that scenario for sure.
Yeah.
It's the most important spot for her.
Absolutely.
Here's a settlement for
All
Jean.
right. That's very good
Definitely
for him,
good.
getting on the 8
wheat in the
wheat.
middle there.
He needs to
So
start
nice.
worrying about his own ports, though.
It's true, and it looks like it's just a wood port up top, which isn't too great for this 12 and 4. But, I mean, you got to take what you can get.
Yeah. No, it's a stone port up there,
7.
right? On the 4? I think
2.
Okay.
How many do you have?
6.
Another 7. So here comes a tough spot. It's pretty obvious that that Mark has the most points. He has the longest road. He has 4 settlements. I mean, he has 6 points. But in reality, Sarvat is clearly in the lead here. She
Yeah.
has 1 card that you know isn't a knight. She has a knight played when anybody else on the board only has 1 knight played. So she's already ahead in that manner because she has a card down that could be a knight. So with her 4 points and her
He's right.
lead
I'm
on
looking
people
at
to
the
get
wrong
to
cards.
largest army, as well as a card that isn't a knight, which means it's more powerful than a knight. Most cards are in this stage of the game.
I have to point out Mark's laser focus on brick this game because
Yes.
he then again blocks the brick, although I don't think anyone is really trying to build roads.
No, except for him.
Yes.
Waiting for that 6 or 3.
He's got the 5 longest, and I feel like it'll
He's hoping
remain
for
5 longest for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
Or he's got 6 maybe.
Okay,
Or
let's
5.
build a road.
Yeah,
There's another
6
one.
is right here. That's correct. That's what I thought he was doing.
All right,
And again,
so-
if he settles there, it's really good for the 3 for 1. Don't get me wrong, but he needs to start focusing on
No,
not
go
roads
ahead.
as soon as possible.
right.
He's got sheep.
Yeah, Joseph with another pass. That's, oh man.
Let's wait.
It's a
Here's
tough
the
spot. All right, so she pulled a knight that turn. The card down is still a mystery, and you got to be worried about the monopoly.
Yeah, you
Could be
have been worried about
could be a victory
VP.
point.
It's all bad. Everything but a knight is really good. So.
Yeah, she could be saving a road build to try to cut another person off. I know she already succeeded in cutting Joseph off earlier, but maybe she could go up to the 8 and cut off
Do I have
So
a
I
few?
actually
Daybreak.
love this play
cut
here.
off Jean.
Yeah, I mean you could block the 8 wheat in the middle for
Depends
Mark,
on when I
Yeah.
pick
but
it.
it's actually
And it
kind
depends
of
on what I pick.
I like it just because that's the main source of sheep for both Joseph and Mark.
I
Yeah.
didn't
They
roll
need
yet,
sheep.
right?
Like
Right.
it's the bottom line. Everyone in this
See, you
board
taught me
needs
a
sheep.
lesson.
They're pretty desperate for sheep.
6.
Ooh, what a block! See,
it is.
immediately
Sorry,
pays
sorry.
off.
I needed
That
that
is
sheep
heartbreaking.
so bad.
You heard Joseph say, "I needed that sheep so bad,"
Heartbreaking.
and he is correct. He did need that sheep so bad.
And I
What
hate
about
going back
some
to it, but he
sheep
traded
into
one
the
for the
game?
brick earlier in the game. He really
He traded
used it.
that and
Go
a
ahead.
wheat for that brick earlier in the game.
Right.
That's it's really coming back to bite him, unfortunately.
8.
Yep. So that's 2 wheat here from Mark. You can assume that he'll get his settlement down pretty soon. I mean, it's rough without having his sheep here. I mean, you might see a 4-for-1. But with that settlement,
Okay, there's the road.
Mark has pretty much maxed out his
Yeah, if he
potential.
settles on his 3-1, yeah. Then he really obviously has to worry about citying, but I think he should already
10.
been worrying.
Yeah.
10 hits, more wood for him.
Well, because now he's behind pace on knights, so he can't go for largest arming very easily.
No.
I mean, he doesn't have the ore for it anyways.
No.
And so here you would hope
So
that he
there's no
can settle,
sheep
but
out
he
there?
just doesn't have sheep.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to happen.
got
He's
shut
asking
off.
for it right now.
Yeah, with the 6 blocked, it's tough for him. So now he can't even settle to get to the 3-1 point to start worrying about the city, which he already should have been worrying about.
Right.
Is there anybody with a couple of wheat?
So now he's trying to get a
What do you-
trade so he can forfeit one of his wheat games to get this settlement. No one wants to trade with him, considering he has the most points on the board.
Okay.
When you pass with like a pretty full hand like that, it's almost never a good sign.
Yeah, it's,
Four.
it's not good.
And
Another
You're
four
in the
roll.
danger of getting 7.
wheat or coal?
So
got
Sarvat
wheat.
hits a
got
sheep
wheat.
on
Got a
that 4,
sheep.
and that's
Got a
actually
sheep?
so
What do you want-
valuable.
What do you want for that?
See?
I'm going to ask you for 2 cards.
Yeah, she knows that it's
There's
Two
valuable.
ore?
If he trades
Wheat
with
and
2 ore
ore?
here,
Wheat,
But you're
a wheat
taking
and
my
a,
sheep.
a wheat and an ore or 2 ore could just
Wheat and
launch her
ore.
straight into a city right here.
And the
No, I
game.
get enough
Yeah.
wheat, really.
You have the wheat harbor, don't you?
Yeah.
Wheat and ore. You don't want wheat
2
and
ore.
So what are you looking for?
2 ore. Okay, I'll do 2 ore.
Wow, 2 ore there.
so this is the situation
Oh,
that
guys,
Josef
I've
finds
had this for
himself
so
in.
long.
Oh,
It actually was a year 20. Huh?
oh, year of plenty. That's what he was sitting on this whole time. That makes sense.
So it's a road
Running out
settlement.
of
Okay.
options here.
So he plays the year of plenty in order to road settle, just to get a point on the board.
Oh,
no, it's a road build.
Road build, not a year of plenty. Road build, and he gets to the 6-4.
10, 10, 10.
It's a great
Wow,
spot.
it cuts off Jean.
Really cuts off John.
Wow.
I
That's
had it
pretty
so
brutal.
long, I
really
was
tough.
gonna like try and get that spot.
And it's
but
really
I
good for
know,
Joe.
just
I mean, that's
couldn't.
his first
I was
placement,
trying to-
obviously.
I
It's
knew
good. It
you
might
were
be
trying
too little
for
too
it,
late.
so
We'll see.
just-
He also
Yep.
gave up
Had to
2
race for it.
stone to do it, which is, it's really going to be tough. We'll see what Sarvat can do with that 2 stone.
gets a
She just
wheat
gets
here?
another wheat.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
man.
at least a development card, but
If not a city. And I think it's probably a
probably
city.
going to be a city too.
2 ore is just so valuable.
Well, again, so I mean, from a basic
Anyone
view,
need wood?
Sarvat is at 4 points and Mark's
Sorry.
at 6. But really, I mean, she's got 2 knights down. She's only 1 development card away from getting to 6. And she just has better late game in general. You
Yeah.
can't be trading the leader of the game like that.
Basically a
to ore.
city, yeah.
Yeah, it's really valuable, and it's a lot for Joseph to give up just to be able to cut off Jean here, because Jean's not even in first or second.
That's very true. And he really hamstrung Jean there because now he has no ports to get to.
No one else has
It's
sheep,
really rough.
I take it.
We could have had some, but
Yeah, yeah.
Anyone?
So
I'll
it's
give 2 wood.
Really trying to lock down
No
Mark's
one
time
needs
here.
wood at all, though.
Yeah,
right?
trying to get a sheep.
Yeah. Oh, wait a second. I didn't realize I was on 3 for 1.
She just realizes her second port.
That and that will be wheat or city.
Wow.
There's the
A
city.
roundabout way to a city, but a city nonetheless.
That's what happens. I mean, if you trade someone to or you have to assume they're
Oh,
gonna
wow.
city.
Okay, so city's up there, which...
I take it. That's
So
it.
the reason you do this is instead of
cards in
sitting
there?
on the 5 to get triple wheat is to diversify your wheat production. So
Mm-hmm.
if you are blocked on the 5, which would become the obvious spot to
8.
block now, she can still double up on the 9 and she still has it, you know?
Right, but I still disagree with this just because her 4 sheep is down there and
Yeah.
sheep is so scarce on this
That's
board.
true.
Getting 2 instead of 1 is a huge difference.
Personally,
And-
I would have citied down there. But
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's a
especially-
justifiable decision for sure.
Sure, but I mean, especially with the brick, like she has no use for brick anymore.
Yeah, she shouldn't build a road for the rest of the game.
No, it should be all cities
Yeah.
development cards from now on,
John unfortunately has to build another road.
just to be
Um,
able to settle.
Yeah.
Fucking hoops, right?
Yeah, it's pretty rough here for Jean without having a port. It's just very difficult. going into late game, you need to be able to
4
trade something
again.
in.
Wow, 4.
See, here's a 4, and with these 2 sheep, Sarvat could have taken complete control of the game.
But
like,
it's
getting
still-
1 is still really
Is
strong.
anybody
It's
willing
still
to trade
huge,
away
yeah.
a sheep?
One sheep.
Don't have any.
See,
Big
Nobody
deal.
has
this
it.
is what we were talking about at the start of the game.
I
People like to
thought I'd
disparage
ask.
sheep. They say it's useless, but in a game like this, it's so powerful.
It's super powerful in this game. The 6 is still blocked. It's been multiple turns around, and you can see the effect it's having on everyone.
And Mark's
Look at that
4
4
for
for
winning
winning
for a
that
sheep. 4 wheat for a sheep, and that just goes to tell you, everyone should always say that wheat is a more powerful resource than sheep because it is. But
Right.
in this scenario, it's not.
And if you're Mark in this situation, yes, it's good to get the 3 for 1 to start
Yes.
building.
Yeah.
But you have a 6 sheep. You know it's going to get open eventually. You have no ore. You should have been trading that 4 for 1 for ore.
And he has a knight played. He should have got a D card with that, if anything, not
Right.
settled, and tried to be able to get it off the
Get back
6
on
so he
pace.
could get more sheep, you
Right.
know? Because now he's just pigeonholed into he can't settle anymore.
Right.
He has a 3 for 1, but he's not producing sheep. And how is he going to get cards in order to get
Largest
off
army.
of his spot? Yeah, he needs to compete for largest, and he needs to get the robber off his spot.
Can
And
I
he's not
get
doing
your
either of those
ore?
things.
Right.
Oh boy, here we go. Huge turn. There's a monopoly by Sarvat.
Oh, my God.
It's huge.
Monopoly and ore?
Monopoly on ore, and she just city last turn too.
Ooh.
Oh no.
That's a lot there from Jean.
Oh, this is a big swing turn. Okay, there's at least 1 city, and she's still reaching for more.
I mean, she has a sheep. She's playing a development card here.
A 5 rolled, and there's a lot of people on the 5 on the 5 producing ore. You can see, and she just immediately snap pounced
Another
onto it.
2 cities here.
2 cities?
2 cities.
Oh my goodness, 2 cities, 1 turn. I was just mentioning how big swing turns where you can do 2 things, let alone 2
Yikes.
cities. Oh my goodness. Huge launch, and she's 1 night away from getting largest army. She's already at 7. The 1 card that she'd been sitting on was Monopoly, and she used it to incredible
8?
effect.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, pretty much in this situation, you get to see how valuable having multiple ports are. So Sarvat has the brick port, the wheat port, and a 3 for 1. Pretty much she can,
And
with the
she's
right
got-
resources, she can buy anything.
She's
she
got
wants.
3 cities on the board now. She's gonna get those resources,
Right,
you
right,
know.
right.
Now she's producing everywhere,
Right.
and it's gonna be tough for anyone to compete.
This is perhaps the perfect example of 2 people being at 7 points, but being worlds apart.
Yes, absolutely.
3 points compared to 1.
John finally gets the settlement down. He should also be buying cards. Everybody in
Yes.
the game should be buying cards.
Right.
They should realize that the writing's almost on the wall here.
I mean, it's still on the 6. The robber's still on the 6.
I know. We needed a card 5 turns ago to try to change the pace
There's
of
a
this
7.
game. Okay, 7 was huge.
Let me just pan out my cards for you now.
Sarvat knows she's getting
5,
stolen from here, of course.
She's well in the lead. I mean, you can't quite get a 2 city turn and expect not to be stolen.
Right.
It doesn't really matter what point of the game you're in.
You have to really just like applaud the patience of Sarvat there, though.
Yeah.
Waiting out of Monopoly. It was her first card?
Second card.
Second development card she bought. She's been holding on to it all game.
Yes.
Waiting
Right,
to
6.
get a solid amount of ore. I mean, pretty much when you have a Monopoly, you want to get 2 victory points out of it. 2 cities is the best way
Absolutely.
to get those points.
No
Yeah,
sheep
and
out
then
there?
continue resource production.
Yeah.
Any ore? You got a sheep?
What are you gonna get?
Still the only one at the
What
table
was
with sheep.
You think I'm gonna do 1 for 1? Come on. You
okay.
didn't make it to a final table.
It's okay. I'm not going to trade with you anyway.
That's fine.
If I did, they'd probably lose their sheep.
They'll kick you under the table.
Mark's still trying to trade for sheep here.
I'd shake my head.
Yeah.
Okay, well, 1 road.
And this is the issue that you run into playing for longest road like Mark has this game. He builds 2 more roads, which locks it down, but they're going nowhere. I mean,
Those are roads to nowhere.
even if he could, even if he had a settlement left, he has all 5 on the board. He can't settle there, so it's almost
good.
wasted
Yep.
resources at this point.
He needed to buy a card there. Instead, he traded his wood in to get more roads, and that's
More
just
roads.
not. Here's a 9 for Sarvat.
That's not what you want to do.
See, because she has the diversification of wheat spots, she's able to get the 9. She's probably going to be able to buy a card this turn, honestly.
Yeah.
Doesn't she have the
I'm
brick
going
board
to
as well?
buy a development card.
Here we go.
Nice.
Yep. There's the card, and this split, this all but locks it
When
in
it's
largest
over.
army for her.
That's the time I fall in love again.
9.
It might
Excellent
be
choice of
over.
song
Another
there.
9.
Wow, another 9, yep. So much wheat on the board right now.
So it's almost impossible at this point for Mark to actually get a city and break out of this 7-point limit.
Or catch up on largest army.
Right.
It's just too late. They should have been trying to do this a long time ago, and they haven't.
Right. Both Mark and John still only have one knight up, and they should have gotten at least another one to try to challenge the pace.
Sure, Sarvat's blocked right now, but she's going to play the knight next turn, and she's going to be at 9 with all of her ports and all of her production. Road settle or a city, that shouldn't even be hard to make.
Right.
She only has 1 card right now, but we'll see how the turns go.
Right, and you can see
Or
the
2 cards,
spot
sorry.
on the bottom of the board. She's only 1 road away from
Is there 2
being
bricks?
able to settle.
Road settle, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I just,
So we do have a trade there.
Is it bad that I really want him to roll a 7?
It might be a little mean-hearted,
They all
Sarvat.
Especially when you're this far in the lead.
Yes.
But hey,
But Mark has a lot of cards in his
I only did
hand.
that trade because I've gotten to know you a bit.
I mean,
Didn't really need the lead.
Mark's still playing the diplomat this late in the game, trying to help you out. I've gotten to know you a little bit. That's why I traded you.
yes. As he's
I was hoping we
benefiting
could do
massively from
something
these
to help our
trades.
Yes.
situation.
Clearly in second.
Sean trying to figure out a way forward here. It's very difficult. I mean, he's just got to get development cards, and it doesn't look like he's going to do it. So he's building 2 more roads.
Building roads. He's trying to connect to longest.
Challenge longest.
Okay, yeah. I mean, in his position, he has a city down. That's probably the best you can do.
Right.
But again, nobody's even looking at the knights. And I
Yeah.
don't. Somebody please look at the knights.
Yeah, I mean, Sarvat probably has it this turn already.
Yeah,
But-
largest, but
You need Robert control in order to stop
He's like,
someone
"That's what I was
that
hoping
is
you
this far
wouldn't
ahead."
do."
yeah, that's someone that blasted off like that into the lead.
11.
Hey, 3 more brick there from Mark. Let's see if he can use it differently this time. He's probably just going to lock down longest road, though, at this point. And
Yeah, as soon as somebody threatens it, the instinct is to build more roads.
he does.
It's incorrect, though.
It's very.
He's a 3-for-1. He could trade those 3 brick for anything.
for anything, and he just builds 2 more roads instead. And
He has to pass. He's going to stay at 7 if he plays like that, you know? It's like, sure, you might lose it, fall down to 5, but
A sheep.
wow.
and wheat.
That's not a joke. He had a lot of cards.
he had a
Oh,
lot of
man.
cards, and
He
with
spent
that 3
all of
brick,
his wheat.
if he didn't have a full city, it looked like he probably could have gotten one.
Yeah, he could have. Yeah,
And
he
that's
could
his
have.
only
I
way to
have not
victory.
picked up in like
Wow.
I don't know how many.
Sarva hits another 2 wheat. I believe that means she has 4 wheat
I
in
only
hand
had
with a
one
wheat
over
port.
here,
So if she
Could be
gets,
over this turn.
it could be over this turn.
I'm good.
Josef is going to pass here, and I think it might be
If
over.
she plays the knight,
If she
she
plays
can
a knight,
steal.
Did I roll that?
Nope.
No.
I did.
You did.
I passed. Yeah.
Oh, you passed it. Okay.
When you see the win in your hand, you get a little giddy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a night. I'd say that's pretty much.
I think that happens to all of us.
Oh, wait.
Even if it's not.
10.
10's good for 2 wood. That's,
Oh,
I mean,
that could be-
helps
that
a
could be a
lot for
road
the road
settle.
settle.
But I mean,
Let's see the
she
knight.
should have played
Let's
the
see if
knight.
she plays it. There it
And
is.
she declares
should have
it.
played
She
it
says
before.
that's
I'm gonna take
game.
that, and then I'm gonna build a road.
Road settle.
And
Easy as
Road
that.
settle. There you go.
That gives her 9 points with the
All
largest
right.
army. Closes it out with the road settle.
Wow.
Congratulations.
And Mark pulls a
Thank you.
victory point on the last turn.
Wow. So he was at 8 points. Yeah. I didn't know if that was exactly the last turn, but he should have bought
Played
that
in a
card.
charity.
Yes.
and I
Probably
ended
should have
up
city.
here. This
Got the
is
guaranteed
crazy.
point.
Yeah, I would have taken
But
Monopoly, eh?
all right. I mean, strongly played by Sarvat. Congrats to her.
Yep.
She's going to go to Worlds in Italy later on.
as well as the Catan Americas Championship in Oaxaca.
Yes, that's their next step.
She'll be representing Canada for the next year.
Well played all around. It's a good representation of how quickly games can swing. You play one Monopoly, you get 2 cities, and it's just about over.
Congrats to Sarvat.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you on the next one.